There was a time when I thought kindness was about giving endlessly, about saying yes even when I wanted to say no. I thought being nice meant always being available, always understanding, and always putting others first. And do you know what happened? I was drained. I was exhausted. I felt like I was giving and giving, but no one was giving back. Kindness is often mistaken for weakness. People assume that if someone is nice, they must be easy to manipulate, too forgiving, or incapable of standing up for themselves. But that is far from the truth. True kindness is one of the greatest strengths a person can have. It takes courage to be kind in a world that often rewards selfishness and cruelty. It takes resilience to offer warmth and understanding, even when life has been unfair. It takes wisdom to treat others with respect while maintaining self-respect. Being nice does not mean allowing people to walk all over you. It does not mean saying yes to everything or sacrificing your happiness just to please others. Many people believe that kindness means always putting others first, but real kindness begins with knowing your own worth. When you understand your value, you do not let others exploit your generosity. You choose to be kind not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to know that the way you treat others is a reflection of who you are, not who they are. One of the biggest misconceptions about kindness is that it is passive. Some people think that if you are kind, you are afraid to stand up for yourself or fight for what is right. But real kindness is active, not passive. It is a conscious choice to be compassionate even when it is difficult. It is standing firm in your values while still treating people with respect. It is having the strength to walk away from toxic situations without bitterness. It is choosing to respond with grace even when faced with rudeness. There is nothing weak about being nice. In fact, it takes far more strength to be kind than to be cruel. The world can be harsh, and it is easy to become defensive or cold in response. When people face betrayal, rejection, or disappointment, they often decide that being nice is not worth it. They put up walls and convince themselves that kindness is a liability. But the truth is, kindness is never the problem. The real problem is the lack of balance. When kindness is given without boundaries, when people do not set limits, they end up feeling drained, unappreciated, and taken for granted. That is why knowing your worth is essential. When you recognize your own value, you give kindness without losing yourself in the process. You understand that you deserve the same respect and care that you give to others. Some people take advantage of kindness because they mistake it for weakness. They believe that if you are understanding, you will tolerate disrespect. If you are generous, you will keep giving even when they give nothing in return. If you are forgiving, you will let them hurt you again and again. But real kindness is not about allowing bad behavior to continue. It is about being strong enough to know when to walk away. It is about being compassionate without being a pushover. When someone mistakes your kindness for weakness, it is not a sign that you need to change. It is a sign that they need to learn the true meaning of kindness. There is an incredible power in being nice while standing your ground. When you know your worth, you are kind because you choose to be, not because you feel obligated. You do not let fear of rejection or conflict control you. You do not need validation from others to continue being yourself. You give freely, but only to those who appreciate it. You are there for others, but not at the expense of your own well-being. You know that your kindness is a strength, and that strength allows you to walk through life with confidence and peace. Being nice is not about avoiding confrontation or making everyone happy. It is about treating people with dignity while expecting the same in return. It is about being respectful without allowing disrespect. It is about being generous without being taken for granted. When you truly understand the power of kindness, you do not let anyone make you feel small for having a big heart. You embrace your kindness fully, knowing that it is not a weakness, but one of the greatest strengths a person can have. Being kind does not mean saying yes to everything and everyone. True kindness is not about sacrificing your own well-being just to make others happy. It is about finding a balance between generosity and self-respect. It's all about self-confidence, Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear disappointing others. They worry that saying no will make them seem rude, selfish, or unkind. But the reality is that without boundaries, kindness can quickly become exhaustion, resentment, and even self-neglect. It is possible to be both kind and firm, to be compassionate while also protecting your own space, time, and energy. People who struggle with boundaries often feel guilty when they say no. They feel responsible for other people's emotions and try to avoid conflict at all costs. But kindness does not mean being available all the time. It does not mean overextending yourself to meet everyone's needs while neglecting your own. It does not mean allowing people to take advantage of you simply because you do not want to hurt their feelings. In reality, setting boundaries is an act of kindness, both to yourself and to others. When you set clear limits, you teach people how to treat you with respect. You show them that kindness is not the same as unlimited access to your time and energy. One of the biggest misconceptions about being kind is that it requires constant self-sacrifice. Many people believe that if they care about others, they must always put others first. But kindness should not come at the cost of your own peace and happiness. If you give too much without setting boundaries, you may start feeling drained and unappreciated. You may begin to resent the very people you are trying to help. This is why saying no is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of self-preservation. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot continue being kind if you are emotionally, physically, and mentally exhausted. People who take advantage of kindness often rely on guilt. They manipulate kind-hearted individuals into believing that saying no is selfish. They expect favors, time, and attention without offering anything in return. They push limits, knowing that the kind person will feel too guilty to refuse. But kindness does not mean allowing yourself to be used. It does not mean accepting one-sided relationships where you are always the giver and never the receiver. It is important to recognize that you deserve the same level of respect and consideration that you give to others. Setting boundaries is not about being harsh or unkind. It is about being honest about what you can and cannot do. It is about valuing your own needs as much as you value the needs of others. You can say no in a way that is polite yet firm. You can refuse requests without feeling guilty or explaining yourself excessively. You can walk away from situations that drain your energy without feeling like you have done something wrong. People who genuinely respect you will understand your boundaries. Those who do not respect your limits were never truly concerned about your well-being in the first place. When you start setting boundaries, some people may not like it. They may react with frustration, disappointment, or even anger. This is because they have become accustomed to taking more than they give. They may try to make you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself, but their reaction is not your responsibility. You cannot control how others feel, but you can control how you allow yourself to be treated. The people who genuinely care about you will respect your choices, even if they do not always agree with them. They will appreciate your kindness without expecting you to sacrifice yourself for them. Learning to say no without guilt is one of the most important skills you can develop. It allows you to protect your time and energy for the things that truly matter. It helps you focus on the relationships and commitments that bring you joy and fulfillment. It prevents you from feeling overwhelmed and burned out. And most importantly, it reinforces the idea that your kindness is a gift, not an obligation. Being kind and firm at the same time is not only possible, it is necessary. When you set clear boundaries, you do not become less kind. You become a person whose kindness is valued, respected, and appreciated. Kindness is a beautiful quality, but not everyone values it the same way. Some people appreciate and reciprocate kindness, while others see it as an opportunity to take advantage. The ability to recognize manipulation is essential because not everyone deserves your kindness. There are people who will take as much as you give without ever considering your well-being. They will use your generosity, your empathy, and your willingness to help, not because they appreciate you, but because they see you as an easy target. Understanding the difference between genuine people and those who only take without giving is crucial in protecting your energy, your peace, and your self-worth. Manipulative people often disguise themselves as friends, family, or even well-meaning acquaintances. They know how to use emotions to their advantage, making you feel guilty for saying no or setting boundaries. They may present themselves as victims, constantly needing help and support, but never being there when you need the same in return. They will remind you of all the times you helped them, not with gratitude, but as a way to pressure you into helping again. Their kindness is conditional, meant to keep you in a cycle of giving while they continue to take. The moment you stop catering to their needs, they may accuse you of being selfish or unkind, making you question whether you are doing the right thing. One of the ways to recognize manipulation is through patterns. Genuine relationships are built on balance, where both people give and take in equal measure. Manipulators, however, create one-sided dynamics where they always benefit at your expense. They may only reach out when they need something, disappearing once they get what they want. They may expect you to always be available, but never make time for you when you need them. They may shower you with compliments and gratitude when they need a favor, only to withdraw affection the moment you ask for anything in return. These patterns reveal that their kindness is not real. It is a tool they use to maintain control over you. Another common tactic manipulators use is guilt. They know that kind-hearted people do not like to disappoint others, so they play on emotions to get what they want. They might remind you of past favors, act hurt when you say no, or make you feel like a bad person for putting yourself first. They rely on your empathy to keep you trapped in a cycle of giving. If you express frustration or try to set boundaries, they may turn the situation around, making themselves the victim and you the villain. They will say things like, "I thought you cared about me," or "I guess I can't count on you like I thought I could." These statements are not genuine expressions of hurt. They are calculated attempts to make you doubt yourself and give in to their demands. There is a difference between helping someone in need and being used. Life is unpredictable, and there will always be times when people need extra support. But the key difference is that genuine people appreciate help and do not expect it as a requirement. They do not make you feel obligated to give more than you can. They do not make you feel guilty when you set limits. They do not disappear when you need support in return. A person who truly values your kindness will respect your boundaries, appreciate your efforts, and reciprocate in whatever way they can. They may not always be able to give back in the same way, but they will never take without gratitude or expectation. Recognizing manipulation does not mean becoming unkind or shutting people out completely. It means being aware of who truly values your kindness and who is simply using it for their benefit. It means trusting your instincts when something feels one-sided or unfair. It means understanding that you do not owe your kindness to everyone, especially those who repeatedly take without giving anything in return. The right people will never make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, and they will never make you question your worth. Your kindness is a gift, and it should be given to those who genuinely deserve and appreciate it. Self-respect is the foundation of how others treat you. It sets the tone for your relationships, your interactions, and your overall sense of worth. When you respect yourself, you carry yourself with confidence, and that confidence influences the way people perceive and treat you. Too often, people believe that being nice means constantly putting others before themselves, even at the cost of their own dignity. They believe that in order to be liked, accepted, or appreciated, they must always agree, always compromise, and always be available. But true kindness is not about sacrificing your self-worth. It is about giving from a place of strength, not from a place of desperation for approval. When you prioritize self-respect, you naturally set boundaries that protect your emotional and mental well-being. You understand that being nice does not mean tolerating disrespect. You do not allow others to speak to you in a way that diminishes you. You do not accept treatment that makes you feel small, unheard, or unimportant. You recognize that while kindness is a virtue, it should never come at the expense of your dignity. There is nothing wrong with being polite, but politeness should not require you to endure mistreatment. If someone is rude or dismissive, you do not have to respond with the same energy, but you also do not have to continue engaging with them. Walking away from situations that do not align with your self-respect is not unkind. It is necessary. People often take advantage of those who do not have firm self-respect because they know they can push limits without consequences. They know that someone who does not value themselves will make excuses for bad behavior, accept apologies without changed actions, and continue to give even when it is clear that they are being taken for granted. But when you respect yourself, you do not allow others to define your worth. You do not seek validation from people who do not treat you with the kindness and respect you deserve. You do not beg for appreciation, love, or attention because you know that your value is not determined by how much you do for others. There is a common misconception that self-respect and kindness cannot coexist. That if you stand up for yourself, you are being rude or difficult. But that is not true. You can be firm without being harsh, assertive without being aggressive, and confident without being arrogant. The key is balance. When you respect yourself, you communicate your needs and limits clearly. You do not shy away from difficult conversations, and you do not let fear of disappointing others stop you from making the right decisions for yourself. You understand that it is possible to be kind while also demanding respect. You know that your niceness should not come at the cost of being treated poorly. People who genuinely appreciate you will respect your boundaries. They will value your time, your opinions, and your well-being. But those who only see your kindness as an opportunity to take advantage will test you. They will see how much you are willing to endure before you finally say enough. And when they realize that you respect yourself enough to walk away from unfair situations, they will either change the way they treat you or remove themselves from your life. Either outcome is a win because self-respect filters out those who do not truly value you. Being nice should never come at the cost of your dignity, because once you allow others to treat you in a way that undermines your self-worth, it becomes a pattern. The more you tolerate, the more people assume they can continue treating you the same way. But when you stand firm in your self-respect, you teach people how to treat you. You show them that kindness is a choice, not an obligation. You remind them that while you are willing to give, you are not willing to be used. The right people will appreciate your kindness, but they will also respect the strength that comes with it. And when you truly respect yourself, you will never settle for anything less. The people you surround yourself with shape your life in ways you may not even realize. They influence your thoughts, your emotions, and even your sense of self-worth. True relationships are built on mutual respect and care, not one-sided giving. If you constantly find yourself in relationships where you are the only one making an effort, it is time to reevaluate who you allow into your life. Kindness should never be a one-way street, and true connections should never leave you feeling drained, unappreciated, or taken for granted. Many people struggle with the idea of letting go of toxic relationships because they feel obligated to maintain them. They convince themselves that if they just give a little more, try a little harder, or overlook a little more disrespect, things will eventually change. But the truth is, relationships should not feel like a constant battle for appreciation. When you surround yourself with the right people, love and respect flow naturally. You do not have to beg for attention, prove your worth, or exhaust yourself just to keep the connection alive. The right people see your kindness, appreciate it, and return it in their own way. One of the biggest signs of a strong, healthy relationship is balance. In a genuine friendship or partnership, both people make an effort. Both people listen, support, and uplift one another. If you find yourself constantly giving while receiving little in return, that is not a relationship. It is emotional labor. It is a situation where one person benefits while the other carries all the weight. Over time, this imbalance creates resentment, exhaustion, and even self-doubt. You begin to wonder if you are asking for too much, when in reality, you are only asking for what should be expected: mutual care and respect. The right people in your life will never make you question your worth. They will celebrate your successes without jealousy, support you in your struggles without hesitation, and stand by you without expecting anything in return. They will not only appreciate your kindness, but will match it with their own. These are the people who will remind you that you are valued not because of what you do for them, but simply because of who you are. They will encourage you to grow, not hold you back. They will make you feel safe, not anxious. And most importantly, they will respect your boundaries instead of testing them. It is important to recognize that not everyone deserves access to your kindness and energy. Your kindness and energy, some people thrive on taking without giving, and they will keep taking as long as you allow it. They will only reach out when they need something, disappear when you need support, and expect you to be available while never making the same effort in return. These types of relationships are draining because they are built on convenience, not genuine care. The sooner you distance yourself from these people, the more space you create for those who truly deserve to be in your life. Choosing the right people does not mean expecting perfection. Everyone has flaws, and no relationship is without challenges. But there is a difference between normal ups and downs and a pattern of one-sidedness. The right people will acknowledge mistakes, apologize when necessary, and make an effort to improve. They will communicate openly and honestly rather than manipulate or guilt trip you into doing what they want. They will understand that relationships are a two-way street and will never make you feel guilty for expecting the same level of respect and care that you give. Surrounding yourself with the right people is one of the most powerful ways to protect your happiness and peace. When you choose relationships that are based on mutual love and support, you no longer have to question where you stand. You feel safe, valued, and free to be yourself. You do not have to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's version of who you should be. You do not have to constantly prove your worth because the right people already see it. The right relationships do not drain you, they nourish you. They do not make you feel small, they help you grow. And they do not take advantage of your kindness, they cherish it. Kindness is often misunderstood. Many people assume that being kind means being passive, that having a soft heart means allowing others to walk over you. But real kindness is not about weakness, it is about strength. It takes confidence to be kind in a world that can sometimes be harsh and unforgiving. It takes courage to remain gentle when faced with rudeness, cruelty, or indifference. True kindness is not about letting people take advantage of you. It is about choosing to act with grace while maintaining your self-respect. Speaking with strength and acting with kindness is a powerful combination, one that ensures your kindness is valued rather than exploited. Confidence in kindness begins with knowing your worth. When you are confident in yourself, your kindness does not come from a need for approval or validation. You do not feel the need to overextend yourself just to be liked. You do not allow people to take advantage of your generosity because you understand that kindness should be mutual, not one-sided. A truly kind person does not tolerate disrespect under the excuse of being nice. Instead, they set boundaries that ensure their kindness is given where it is appreciated, not where it is taken for granted. One of the most important aspects of confidence in kindness is the way you communicate. Many people struggle with asserting themselves because they fear coming across as rude or unkind, but being direct and firm does not mean being unkind. It means valuing your own voice and ensuring that it is heard. When you speak with confidence, people take you seriously. They understand that your kindness is a choice, not a weakness. They know that while you are willing to help, listen, and support, you will not allow yourself to be used or disrespected. The tone in which you carry yourself matters. Kindness should be accompanied by clarity and self-assurance. Another important aspect of maintaining confidence in kindness is standing up for yourself and others when necessary. Being kind does not mean remaining silent in the face of injustice, nor does it mean tolerating unkindness from others. Many people avoid confrontation because they fear conflict, but true strength lies in addressing situations with honesty and respect. There is a way to speak up without being aggressive, to correct without being cruel, and to set limits without being harsh. The ability to do this comes from understanding that kindness is not about pleasing everyone. It is about acting with integrity and ensuring that both you and those around you are treated fairly. Some people will mistake kindness for weakness because they assume that a gentle approach means a lack of firmness. They believe that a soft heart is easy to manipulate. But those who are truly confident in their kindness do not allow this assumption to affect them. They continue to be kind, not because they are naive, but because they choose to operate from a place of strength. They do not let negativity change their nature. Instead, they reinforce their kindness with boundaries and self-respect. There will always be people who try to take advantage of those who are kind. They will see kindness as an invitation to ask for favors without giving in return, to expect endless patience without accountability, or to test limits without consequences. But the way you respond to such behavior determines whether or not your kindness is respected. When you carry yourself with confidence, people understand that while you are compassionate, you are not to be taken lightly. They learn that your kindness is not a weakness, but a strength, one that is rooted in self-respect and clarity. Being confident in your kindness also means knowing when to walk away. Not everyone deserves access to your energy, and not every situation requires your continued patience. There is a difference between being kind and being taken for granted. When you recognize that a relationship or situation is consistently one-sided, it is not unkind to step back. In fact, doing so reinforces the idea that your kindness is valuable and should be given where it is truly appreciated. Walking away from toxic or unbalanced dynamics is not an act of cruelty, it is an act of self-preservation. Confidence and kindness is one of the most powerful qualities a person can have. It allows you to navigate the world with both compassion and strength. It enables you to be kind without being taken advantage of, to give without losing yourself in the process, and to stand firm in your beliefs without compromising your gentle nature. When you speak with strength and act with kindness, you command respect. You show the world that a soft heart is not a sign of weakness, but a mark of true resilience. And most importantly, you remind yourself that kindness is not just about how you treat others. It is also about how you allow yourself to be treated. Generosity is a beautiful trait, but it should never come at the cost of your well-being. Being kind and giving is a strength, but when it is not balanced with self-care, it can leave you emotionally, mentally, and physically drained. There is a fine line between being generous and overextending yourself, and knowing where that line is can protect you from exhaustion and disappointment. While it is natural to want to help others, it is also important to recognize when giving too much starts to harm you rather than uplift others. True generosity does not mean sacrificing yourself for those who would not do the same for you. It means giving from a place of abundance, not depletion. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that their worth is tied to how much they give. They feel that in order to be loved, accepted, or valued, they must always be available, always say yes, and always put others before themselves. But the truth is, people who truly care about you will never expect you to exhaust yourself for them. They will respect your limits and appreciate your efforts without making you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself when needed. If someone only values you for what you can do for them rather than for who you are, that is not a real connection, it is a transaction. Overextending yourself can take many forms. It can mean constantly saying yes to favors, even when you are overwhelmed. It can mean always being the one to reach out, check in, and offer support, even when the effort is not reciprocated. It can mean carrying other people's emotional burdens to the point where they start affecting your own mental health. While it is admirable to be there for others, it is just as important to be there for yourself. If you are constantly pouring into others without replenishing yourself, you will eventually run empty. And when you are drained, you are no longer able to give in a meaningful way. There are people who will take as much as you give without ever considering how it affects you. They will lean on you for emotional support, but never offer the same in return. They will expect you to listen to their struggles, but disappear when you need someone to listen to yours. They will accept your generosity without gratitude and continue asking for more, assuming that you will never say no. These are the people you need to be mindful of. Your kindness should be appreciated, not expected. Your generosity should be acknowledged, not taken for granted. If you notice that someone only shows up when they need something, but never when you need support, it is a sign that the relationship is one-sided. Giving should feel fulfilling, not exhausting. When you give to the right people, those who appreciate and respect you, it creates a sense of connection and joy. It strengthens relationships and builds trust. But when you give to those who only take, it leaves you feeling drained, used, and unappreciated. The key is to recognize the difference between giving as an act of love and giving as an act of obligation. When generosity comes from love, it is joyful and meaningful. When it comes from obligation, it is exhausting and unbalanced. Setting boundaries around your generosity does not mean you are selfish. It means you value yourself. It means recognizing when you need to take a step back and prioritizing your own well-being. It means understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are constantly overextending yourself for others, you will have nothing left for yourself. And when you have nothing left for yourself, even the things that once brought you joy start to feel like burdens. Protecting your energy is not unkind. It is necessary. The right people in your life will never make you feel guilty for taking care of yourself. They will not demand more than you can give, and they will not expect you to sacrifice your peace for their benefit. Instead, they will support you just as you support them. They will understand that generosity should be mutual, not one-sided. They will appreciate your kindness without taking advantage of it. And most importantly, they will respect your boundaries, knowing that true generosity does not come from depletion, but from a place of balance. Being generous is a wonderful quality, but it should never come at the expense of your emotional, mental, or physical well-being. You deserve to give without feeling drained, to help without feeling used, and to care without feeling unappreciated. Giving is meaningful when it is done freely, not when it is expected or demanded. So be generous, but do not overextend yourself. Give from a place of strength, not exhaustion, because your well-being matters just as much as the well-being of those around you. Being kind is one of the most beautiful traits a person can have. It is a reflection of inner strength, compassion, and a willingness to make the world a better place. However, kindness should always be accompanied by wisdom. While being kind can open doors, build relationships, and create positive change, being kind without wisdom can lead to disappointment, exhaustion, and even being taken advantage of. True kindness is not about saying yes to everyone, accepting every request, or tolerating disrespect. It is about knowing where and how to express kindness in a way that ensures you are respected and valued. Many people believe that being kind means always being available, always being agreeable, and always prioritizing others over themselves. They think that in order to be seen as a good person, they must never refuse help, never express their own needs, and never stand up for themselves. But kindness without wisdom can quickly become self-sacrifice, leaving a person drained, undervalued, and sometimes even disrespected. Kindness should never come at the cost of self-respect. Being kind does not mean allowing others to take advantage of you. It means choosing to be compassionate while ensuring that you are treated with the same care and respect that you offer others. One of the most important aspects of wise kindness is understanding that not everyone deserves access to your time, energy, and generosity. Some people see kindness as an invitation to take without giving, to demand without appreciating, and to manipulate without consequence. They mistake kindness for weakness, assuming that a kind person will always be available, always be forgiving, and always tolerate their behavior. But true wisdom lies in recognizing these patterns and setting boundaries that protect your peace. Being kind does not mean saying yes to everyone. It means knowing when to say no. It means recognizing when a relationship or situation is unbalanced and having the strength to walk away when necessary. Wisdom in kindness also means understanding that kindness should not be performative. Some people give and help in ways that are unsustainable, hoping to be liked, accepted, or validated by others. They say yes to requests even when they are overwhelmed. They suppress their own feelings to avoid conflict, and they overextend themselves in relationships that are not mutual. But true kindness is not about proving yourself to others. It is about acting from a place of genuine compassion while ensuring that you are not compromising your well-being in the process. Kindness should be expressed in a way that uplifts both the giver and the receiver. It should feel natural, not forced, fulfilling, not exhausting. When kindness is rooted in wisdom, it creates healthy relationships where respect and appreciation flow both ways. It encourages others to treat you with the same care that you offer them. It teaches people that while you are kind, you are also self-aware, strong, and not to be taken for granted. A truly kind person does not allow themselves to be disrespected. They do not tolerate mistreatment in the name of kindness. They understand that kindness is most powerful when it is combined with strength. They know that they can be understanding without being naive, compassionate without being a pushover, and giving without being taken advantage of. They do not let others guilt them into overextending themselves, nor do they allow manipulation to dictate their actions. Instead, they practice kindness in a way that is balanced and sustainable, ensuring that their own needs are met alongside the needs of others. Another key aspect of staying kind while staying wise is knowing when to walk away from toxic situations. There are times when kindness will not change a person or situation. Some people will continue to take advantage, no matter how much kindness you offer. Some situations will remain toxic, no matter how much patience and understanding you bring. In these moments, wisdom means recognizing that your kindness is not an obligation, but a choice. It means knowing that it is okay to step back, to say no, and to remove yourself from spaces where your kindness is not valued. Walking away does not mean you are unkind. It means you respect yourself enough to choose where your kindness is best placed. Being wise about kindness also means learning to read people and situations carefully. Not everyone will appreciate kindness in the same way, and not every situation calls for the same approach. There will be times when kindness needs to be gentle and nurturing, and times when kindness needs to be firm and direct. There will be moments when kindness means offering support, and moments when kindness means allowing someone to face their own consequences. Wisdom and kindness means knowing the difference and choosing the right approach for each situation. At its core, kindness should be something that enriches both you and those around you. It should not leave you feeling drained, used, or unappreciated. It should not be something that others expect from you without gratitude. When you are kind with wisdom, you ensure that your kindness is never mistaken for weakness. You ensure that your energy is spent in places where it is valued, and you build relationships that are based on mutual respect and care. Being kind is a gift, but being wise about where and how you express it is what ensures that this gift is never wasted. And finally, remember this. Being nice does not mean being naive. You can have a soft heart and a strong mind. You can love people but still protect yourself. You can forgive, but you don't have to let people walk all over you. The world needs more kind people, but not at the cost of their self-worth. So be kind, be loving, but also be wise. Your kindness is your power. Protect it, and the right people will respect it. Thank you.